Kia ora whānau, how's it going? Kaitiaki Mara Kai here. I've had someone ask me about their raised beds, so I'm just going to do a little critique of it and gives them some jungle tips. Alright, click the like button, share around if this is helpful, and yeah, give it a little cordial. I'm at a location that the whānau have asked to just wanted me to have a look at their raised beds and give us a little bit of a cordial and what I think about it, and any jungle tips that might be helpful. So they've got 4 here on a really nice laid out area. Table in the middle, mana etahi, atu. And so they've got a good selection of vegetables, but well, let's do the affirmative. So at the moment, from what I've dug in and I've felt the soil, and so there's a lot of moisture in the soil in relationship to its draining and so forth. It's in a really good sun location, so it gets the sun pretty much most of the day. But my only critique that I would have with raised beds is the height of the soil. You gave me a little strawberry patch. These beds, or this type of raised bed materials, is actually made so that you have your soil right up to the top here. Effectively, the beds are actually quite low. You could actually make this into a no toil bed, where if you had no the sides on, you're just doing what you're doing up on the land. You'll see some pictures I'll put in between this. They've just put compost straight into the boxes, which is what you want to do. However, to get the greatest effect in your Māra, when you're doing a raised bed, you really want to raise it to the top, or even just up to that level of your bed. Now, how do you do that? Well, the first layer you do is you put in carpet or cardboard. Then you put in clippings and logs, just to give some height. And what you're doing there is you're putting some organic materials in there that can break down and continually feed the topsoil that you put in. So cardboard, clippings, food waste. If you've got branches from around your site or location, your offcuts of those logs, and so you might end up actually having your logs and all that material about the third or second down from the top, and then you place your nice compost on top of that material. Now, why I'm saying that is that it gives you more room, and as I dug down in here, you have all this beautiful soil down in here, but it's not very deep. By utilising the whole space of your raised bed, you're going to actually have more nutrients and materials inside your Māra, and so you actually wouldn't have to feed it as much. But in here, it's going to dry out a bit more, although the soil, as we saw there, is a nice damp feel. And so that's one thing. Utilise the whole depth of your raised bed. And another little jungle tip to help keep the moisture in there, particularly as it gets warmer, we're going into summer with the beds here, is I would put mulching bark or something like that on top around here. That'll help keep the weeds down. It also just keeps the moisture in. One of the things I've noticed in this particular Māra, and it's okay if you want to do that, but these herbs and in particular mint. Now mint as a herb, if you don't control it, will eventually take over this whole bed. So you really want to restrict it. You could put it into a pot inside here, and so it only grows within inside that pot, or like they've got another little potting area there, you could actually put the mint inside there rather than inside the bed, because as you can see the mint is starting to grow through, so they're going to get shoots, they'll come along, and eventually this will be full. So some herbs will just grow and take over. Anyway, but it's got a good selection, and I've been seeing people come and utilise it. It's got great sun, gets most of the sun all the time, and it's got a great selection of vegetables. And I noticed the kids were coming in and titting around. So anyway, kia ora whānau, just some little jungle tips for our whānau doing their own Mara Kai. Or care around tomatoes. I'm gonna touch these up, and I'll take some pics after I've done it. But this is an example where if we leave the tomatoes to their own growing desires, they'll grow all over the show. So look over there, for example, over there, we've got shoots along the ground, and just a lot of foliage and some flowers coming through, which is kapai. But I'm just going to touch these up. Now with the flower, this one over here, you'll see it's on the ground. You're going to need to make sure you just watch that a little bit, because you can get some diseases that gets passed on through those lower leaves. That's why you'll see when I do plant hours, I'll normally cut off the lower 2 or 3 shoots that come out, or pecker or branches that come out, and that's what I'm going to do there. I'm just going to tidy it up, and you'll see that I'll actually give from there to about there some space for it to breathe, but just to get it off the ground, and then, yeah, we'll just tidy it up. The idea being is that the modi of the vegetables or the fruit here, you're wanting that to go into here, because this is where the tomato is going to be. If you have a lot of foliage like we have here, it's all just going to go into the energy, or the modi is just going to go into the leaves, and therefore you'll get stunted tomatoes. So yeah, we'll just give this a bit of a trim, a bit of a tidy up, and then compost the cut-offs and the shoots. Copy. See in here, we've got some tomatoes coming through, just in there. And remember they talked about the laterals, the little shoots that come through. So here is the branch, or the main tahuhu for the tomato, and then there's a pecker that's growing off that way, and then there's the lateral that's growing up here. That's what you want to keep. You want to make sure that you keep picking those off. Now I've said in other videos that these laterals, and that's quite a big one that we have here, I'll take it out, but here it is. You could actually put that in a little pot, and that'll grow. Can't put that in the ground, and that'll grow to become another tomato. So you could actually just put them and let it grow, water it, go forth. But those are the ones you want to take off, because you're trying to encourage, as I said before, the modi to go to the fruit rather than to the foliage. Copy. So yep, just trimming away again, and we'll take it from there. So here we go, bit of a tidy up, trim up. So now you'll see, now here's an example why you need to pull when you plant your tomatoes. So there's the main tahuhu of the tomato. Why you need to trim the bottom pecker or the bottom branches when you first plant it. Because see on this one here, you've now got another tahuhu, a secondary one that's got this is going to be flowering soon. So this is actually going to need to be staked, and same on the other side, so you've got flowers on that side over there. Again, thinking about the energy and the kai. So when I talked about having your bed, your raised bed higher, the more nutrients that you put in the soil, the more fertilizer you put in here, the better fruit that you're going to get. But here they're going to have to branch, they're going to have to stake there, you're going to have to stake on that one. But you really want to think about your main tahuhu of the plant growing up, and then trimming it back. Now, compared to what they looked like before, as you can see, and that one there, I've trimmed them back pretty hard because you're wanting the mauri, or all the kai and the energy that they get from the soil, to go into the flowers, which will turn into the tomatoes, as we see here. Here's the other one. You know, I could trim this one off, but I'll just leave that there for now. See how your tomatoes are starting to come through on this little one here. Yep. And this one here. So, mai te one from the soil up the tahuhu, and it goes to the fruit. I suppose I could cut that one off there if I wanted to, and then all the food. And then the ongoing care is watering it and fertilizer, tomato fertilizer, just to keep feeding it, because they're going to need a lot of, particularly now that they're flowering.